everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa. No?
The big one.
Hi everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can paint this gorgeous scene of vintage Christmas ornaments in acrylic step by step for yourself at home. I do have the materials list here, but I'll go over the paint palette again so you know where everything is. We are on a 9x12 canvas today, and I'm actually using the painting from yesterday, which was the Kitten in a Mitten. Same color palette, with the exception of I'm adding ultramarine blue and not doing the dioxazine purple. So I thought I'd show you how the wet palette holds paint from one day to the next. You guys come with me on a regular basis. Sometimes you guys like to see, like, how is that really holding up? And does that really work? So I will go over that. And this is the quinacridone magenta right here. John can make me smaller. This is the cad red medium, the cad yellow medium, phthalo blue. This right here is the ultramarine blue, phthalo green, burnt sienna, Mars black, and titanium white. So that's where everything is on the palette. I'm not going to be worrying about doing the dioxazine purple, and honestly, to your eye, probably looks quite black. But we do actually different mix here to get to our purple, which is fun for you to know how to do. How are you guys doing today? I'm ready for this.
Really?
Yes, I am super ready. I got my coffee all warmed up. I got my Doctor Who gear sported. I'm ready, you know, because Flux this year, or Universe. I'm all into it. I stalk Torrid. I stalk them and I see when their new fangirl stuff comes out. All right. If you guys are ready to do this painting, I'm ready to show you how you can do it. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's the one who makes me big and small at all the weird times, and also makes sure that the cameras are mostly pointing at what I'm talking about. Mostly at night, mostly keeping track of it. And he'll take questions from the chat. I am seeing some of the chat today. Ambient Landscapes, can you please repeat that? I had to refresh. All right, let me repeat just really quick the palette again. Quinacridone magenta, cad red medium, cad yellow medium, phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, phthalo green, burnt sienna, Mars black, and titanium white. So 9x12 canvas. But remember, it's in the beginning at the materials list, and I go over, and you can always pause and rewind the video during a live show even, because the chat will progress like normal, and you can just paint at a relaxed pace. No need to be stressed or worried about that at all. I paint along with friends, and it's really intense to paint along live at home. I've done it. I know what it's like. So it's completely okay. All right, let's go step one. Step one. I'm going to take a big bright brush. This is a number 26 Ruby Satin Bright. It's just a nice wide one. It's about more than an inch wide, and that's because I don't want to spend forever painting my background. My background is going to be much like it was yesterday. We're going to do titanium white and a little bit of the phthalo blue, kind of ready to flow off the brush. And we're going to be going up and down this time with the streaking. Today's streaking is an up and down streaking.
And streaking is okay.
It's okay here. This is the place you can streak on your canvas. Streak it up. That's really kind of an 80s joke, isn't it? Really haven't seen a lot of streaking in recent memory, but maybe I'm missing that part of the news. So you'll see that I'm loosely kind of loading this. So it's white, it's blue, but it mixes on the brush and on the canvas, and that's how I get that variable line effect that's kind of reminiscent of, you know, weather or sky in motion. It's kind of a neat background that we can do in our painting to get a good result. Now the trick here is I can go back and I can smooth out a previous area was out on my canvas. But I don't want to do that so much that I unify it. Right? We don't want it to come together so much that I unify. Heather C., thank you so much. So I hope you guys are really liking these vintage paint-alongs. I am having a lot of fun with them. I'm getting a lot of great questions. I had a question about holiday gnomes, and I do believe you will see a gnome. And yes, you will see the astronomes again. I just got rolled by YouTube this year. I did, man. Here's what, like, I've had to just come back to myself as a creator and an artist a little bit, you know, and kind of figure out what I love and take on, like, be open enough to try new things, and then be centered enough to know who I intrinsically am. And that's been an interesting journey this year. So you've been seeing me go through that. Been a fun time. I'm just continuing through this whole surface and getting this right here. Nikki Martin says, these paintings are my favorite. These are so beautiful. I love them. I know I'm reading a complimentary comment, but it was really rather nice today. I'm coming back through with a little blue just to make sure it's got that kind of sky up and down. So you can see this is a vertical up and down stroke, long strokes, and the canvas is streaky. Canvas is streaky. And then Nicole says, you look real beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm about to do another transformation, depending on if I can get into my salon. I'll let you guys look up. I'm going to ask if it's possible for us to do some blue fire, because I feel like I'm going into the winter months, the cold months, and I want some fire. We'll see if that works, though. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. No, I was kind of going to like, I never know how it's going to be, right? With my hair. I'm like, could be good, could be crazy. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. But I'm thinking I want to do blue fire. So if you want to Google that blue fire hair color, I'm going to be going for some version of that.
There's a traceable for this, yeah?
There is a traceable. It's on the website, free to download. It's there for you on both the video page if you go to the video section and also in the traceable tab. You can pull up all the vintage ornaments by just searching the keyword vintage in the traceables, and it'll pull them all up.
All right.
I checked their tags hardcore. Now, before we can go on to the next step, guys, we really need to dry this canvas. The other thing is, you don't want to we're not going to be sketching, so it doesn't have to be perfect dry, but we do want it dry enough that we can do this brush stroke that we're going to do over the top for the shadow of the branches without too much difficulty. So I'm going to dry this with my hair dryer.
Okay.
John's going to give you some speech about heat, but I want you to remember it's more serious for some brands of paint than other brands of paint.
So what she's talking about is my love to speak about color shift. And really what this is a conversation around that acrylic is a polymer, and it doesn't like heat. It doesn't react well to it. It makes it sticky, makes it soft, can cause the pigments to react and shift in different ways. And more economical paints do this more than professional or higher end paints. So just know that kind of moving forward, it's a thing like that. Thoroughly drying without heat is probably the key. All right. Are you step ready?
I'm mostly step ready, I feel.
Mostly?
Mostly.
Is this a mostly episode?
This is a mostly episode. Mostly. For all of you who don't get our jokes, thank you so much for watching, because I understand your pain. I can't stop it. I don't have another setting. I would like to be way more popular on YouTube than I am.
But
I can't stop the joking.
I might seriously get a snare and a crash just so that,
so that you can be like there. I want to welcome Valerie O'Brien to Emoji Club. Woo! All right, so I'm going to take my cat's tongue. And remember, guys, when I'm using a cat's tongue, you could use a filbert, which is just a brush like this that's rounded. Right? Fun fact, filbert means cat's tongue in French. So there you go. But this is a pointed filbert. And I'm going to take a little mix of my ultramarine and phthalo blue kind of loaded on the toe of the brush. And at first, I'm going to give you a little sketch of what we're going to be doing. Okay. I know I want a branch that's going to come down this way. So I'm coming over onto the right-hand side. And I'm just making some little loose sketches. I know I'm going to need some center branches that come down here because I have to have stuff the ornaments hang on. I'm going to definitely want a little branch that comes over this way. And then somebody here. And then let's come down, and I'm going to curve over a little bit. So I come down straight and I curve over a little bit to the right. I'm giving myself a road map for the branches. When I'm doing pine branches, if I just do the pine stroke, I can get really lost in that. My branches can end up going a lot of crazy places. So giving myself a little bit of guidance early on does me good. Now I'm going to go backwards up the branches because we're going to layer these like dragon scales. I'm going to come here and I'm going to flick out the brush on the toe. You could use brown brush. You could use a filbert, but it's a flick. You guys see that flick?
I see it.
This is that cool winter color, isn't it? Uh, wait.
No,
Gatorade for the horde, says moderator Cad Yellow.
so
You've
Heidi.
sucked so many people into World of Warcraft.
Well, yeah, it's a good thing.
So you did.
But okay, Heidi was asking.
Hi, Heidi.
She loves to watch your tutorials.
Thank you, Heidi.
What do you use for your paint palette? It looks unusual.
It is. This is the Stay Wet Masterson palette, and this is a weird size. It's like the 12 by 13. That's because I like the 9.5 by 12 interior, and then I have a little side brush holder. These come in a bunch of sizes, large and small. The big one is real big, and basically what it does is it keeps your paint from drying out. I have a lot of conditions that really mess with my paint, and I want to keep it from drying out, so this does that. And then it also lets me, as you can see, use my paint from day to day to day. So after this lesson, I have leftover paint. I can do a painting for a whole other lesson later.
Thank you for the YouTube rabbit hole or the vintage rabbit hole you fell down.
Crystal Sloan says, which blue? I stepped away. So I'm mixing my phthalo blue and my ultramarine blue together. And, oh, I love that. Furfur? That's funny. Am I saying that right? Furfur?
I don't know.
Furfur? Or fair? Could be fair. Fear. You know, I don't know. Sometimes you can't tell when you read stuff. You don't know. You have no idea. My son, my middle child, my son's name is Spider, but it's Spider with a Y, like Spider Robinson or Spider Savage. And you got to be like a particular kind of age range to know either one of those references. And for John, it was the car. Which car was it? The Spider something or other? I don't know. Some car. It was the middle ground we both could come to on that particular middle child. And it's real funny because the Y throws people. Because they're like, surely she didn't name her son a bug name.
No,
surely she did not. I did not. I named him after Spider Robinson and Spider Savage.
Or the 1955 Porsche Spider.
Or the 1955 Porsche Spider. Like when you make like little faces at your community, but your spouse can see you there. It's not that stealthy.
You mean the ability just to do this?
I'm in timeout. Oh no, I'm in trouble. Heather C says, blue under the painting. Is this a blue spruce? This could be a blue spruce. I'm not a great arborist, but I have an arborist that cuts down my trees. And wow, I wish I had taken video of my arborist. He looks like. Now, I don't know exactly what you would picture an arborist to look like.
You know, see, when she first asked this question, my response is that I am not a tree psychologist and cannot speak to the mood of the tree. But I generally find spruces to be optimistic.
Oh, we think you're so funny and that we're not so funny, baby. You know what I mean? But I can't stop doing it. I want to laugh in my life.
I'm like a slow train wreck. You're just like, oh no, I know it's coming. I can't look away.
Karen says that you have the power, and I feel like that could be a He-Man reference. Anybody catching the He-Man reboot? I have to say, so I'm referring to a show on Netflix. I'm learning that because people write me like, I don't know what shows you're talking about. There's a show on Netflix. It's a He-Man cartoon reboot. This is important if you're Generation X because we grew up with that, right? And so they revisited it, and Mark Hamill's doing the voice of Skeletor. Has really brought I have the power back to my mind.
Uh-huh.
By the power of grace.
So, we're doing this thing where we paint.
This is the step.
Is this the step?
This is the step.
I could have never seen it.
What size palette, Stay Wet palette do you use? Melissa asked that. I'm going to ask my moderators to drop the link to the exact palette that I use because I never remember the dimensions because it's a weird size, but it's the one I really like. I like this Stay Wet palette. Like, of all of them, this is my favorite size. Okay, I'm going to dry this a little bit before we move on.
Okay.
I don't have to, though.
No, it's
You've
okay.
already put up the step.
I did, but I can step again.
Okay. Well, don't step again. I'll just, it's fine. It's been drying as I've been talking because I'm chatty.
This is true.
So now I have this interesting sort of mix of phthalo blue and ultramarine blue, and I can get this into my phthalo green, and I'll pop just a little bit of burnt sienna. So this is quite dark. So this is phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, little phthalo green, and burnt sienna. If you didn't have one of these blues, you would be okay. I don't want you to feel like you wouldn't be okay. And I'm going to come here and add a little bit of this dark, cool. So the other pine branches we did yesterday on the mitten kitten, the vintage mitten kitten, was a little warmer than this. These are a little cooler. These are a little more in a winter color palette. And I'm really enjoying the brush flick today. You seeing this?
I'm
into it. I'm into it deeply. Nicole says, I didn't know about the He-Man reboot. Yeah. Like at first, did I say that right? Nicola. Yeah. At first I wasn't sure. Like I was like, wait, what are we doing? I don't get the direction this is going at all. But actually they went back into the universe in a really kind of cool way. Sometimes I watch shows and I'll be like, John, I don't know if it's good or terrible. I'm not sure. Like I watched all of Cowboy Bebop, entirely unsure if the remake was good or terrible. It's just one of those things. Some shows kind of hold you there. So at first I wasn't sure, but then as Mark Hamill started to bring that role together, as only he can, because he's really special. He really is. He and George Takei are like a gift, and he just cracked me up, man. He pulled from some really deep core dorkdom in his soul to do Skeletor. And I love it because they kind of like explored some of the relationships and did go back and sort of develop some of the female characters in this one a little bit as well. So we start to understand, maybe the motivations for Evelyn and, where she's coming from, where Tila's coming from. Orko, whom I just could not stand during the original cartoon. I'm continuing to flick these branches. Don't down thumb me because I'm talking about He-Man, please. Continue to flick down. I am teaching. We have to paint a lot of branch.
We're here
all right.
almost every day, folks. And you can count on there'll be more of this loveliness.
More of this. All right. When I get this, I'm going to want to come back through before it dries. And I'm going to add a little bit of white to this mix here. All right. So I've got my little green and a little bit of my ultramarine and a little bit of white.
Mm-hmm.
And the mix that's already there is sort of there, and I'm starting to come in, and I'm going to add these like highlights to this, right?
Yep.
If you want to get a little yellow in there, you can. A little more reserved on this one this time. You can see that really gives it some dimensionality, doesn't it?
It does.
Or I feel like it does.
I feel dimensional.
Somebody says they're virtual donuts, so they are whatever flavor you want, says Phthalo Blue. I love it!
I like the plain cake kind.
He does.
It's because I can eat 2 or 3 of them with my coffee and not feel like sugar crashy.
Yeah, seriously. Though his metabolism is like lightning fast, so. Not a fair comparison. I'm just saying.
That's because I got the boogaloo in my shoes.
Okay, I'm questioning that sentence there. I want you to Google that and make sure that you have not done something there.
Just dance.
I'm gonna. Is that from Disco?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, dancing. Disco.
All right. Look at that. So we've got this gorgeous little bit here. You can always come back if you feel like you got too light with just a little bit of your green and blue and like bring some, see how I'm bringing in some like pieces of highlights of pine needles that are a little more pieced out, weave it in. Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to paint out all my blue because that was really delightful, but I just want to have enough pine needle here to feel like I'm looking at a tree.
Oh my gosh, you are so right.
I love it without the white. Can I do less of it and still get a good result? So what I would do is, if you're not as into the white, you would just go back and do the greener spruce where you lighten with a yellow or a yellow ochre instead of the white. Or you can use a zinc white, which doesn't so much mint as it does lighten.
Man, internet is broken my brain. So, traditionally, just so that I declare my position on things, Boogaloo, otherwise known as a funk dance, is a freestyle improvisational street dance movement of soulful steps and robotic movements which make the foundation of pop and dance and turfing. Boogaloo can incorporate illusions, restrictions, muscle movements, stops, robotic, or wiggling, and none of the other craziness that you might find on the internet. Please continue.
I'm going to dry my canvas now.
So, that was an unexpected Google moment. Yeah. So, dry your canvas thoroughly and be careful what you Google. That's all I'm going to say. I'm constantly happy we're painting. And dry your canvas thoroughly. And thank you for joining us. This is, we do this live, so sometimes things are live. I'm making sure that I'm ready for the next step. I think I am. Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
What?
Just making sure that we're ready for...
We're ready for the new step. The new stepping. Step it up.
You think we're ready?
Steppenwolf. Yes.
Okay.
I am very uninformed in music, just so y'all know. It's just like tragically so. Whereas my husband's very contemporary in music and keeps up on everything. I do not.
Well, I don't know that I keep up on everything, because every once in a while you'll say something, yeah, I got like this classic dance movement in my shoes. And then they're like...
Okay, but you don't, just so you know. All right. I just don't want you going into the world thinking that you do.
You don't know my pop and lock skills.
I took ballroom dance with you in school. I really do.
We did not pop and lock.
We did not anything.
We did not break dance.
We didn't even two-step, let's be honest.
We did.
Okay.
We swam.
So, badly. All right. This particular roll of tape is 3.5 inches across, which is about 9 centimeters. So this is going to be the circumference of my circle. I just want to give you guys a sense of how big that is. I'm going to use a tool that has a chalk cartridge in it. And it's just regular chalk, like what you might find on a chalkboard. And I'm going to trace around this. And I do that just so I have a better shaped circle for the ornaments. Right? I'm just trying to get a better circle for my ornaments. So that's how I get that main ornament circle. And then it's a little challenging to get the interior circle. But I'm going to come in and make another little interior circle so that when I paint that, hopefully I did an okay job this time, we're going to have a nice little interior vision into the little crystal cut sparkle fest. Now, for the other one, I'm going to come over here towards the right-hand side, and I'm going to start down, say about, the 4-inch mark, maybe 4.5-inch mark. And I'm going to make a long line. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to put this on the 1-inch line and come across to the 2 inches so that I've got kind of a cross that comes an inch over each side. I do this so that when I try to make my teardrop, it's symmetrical. Ish. And then I bend this back in. So see, I've got this sort of kite tee and it lets me create that little form. I'm also going to paint this in white so you guys can really see it. And I come and cap the top with a little cap. I'm going to do the same up here at the top, a cap on the top with a little cap. That's the top of the ornament. All right. Now, between these two, there's an ornament in the center. We don't really see it particularly well. So I'm going to just freehand it lightly between these two. So little of it is showing. I feel like I have a half chance of freehanding it. We'll see if I'm super wrong. Probably super wrong. But we'll go for it. And that also right here has another little ornament hanger that kind of comes in. Now, when we have those in, I'm going to want to paint those in with a little bit of white. And that's just so that I can do the bright ornament colors over the top. And have a very vibrant color. You got super quiet.
Yeah.
Did you cause a bunch of people to sub from us?
Oh, no. I was actually going over to check out what's going on Facebook, and it said that you're temporarily blocked. It says, if you look, it looks like you're misusing this feature by going too fast. You've been temporarily blocked. And so, but it's still working for everybody else. They can still see it going over there. So I'm not sure if we had too much chat happening in Facebook and it broke them. They're like, no, you guys are too chatty.
Okay, get a screenshot of that and I'll send that over to the people at Facebook and be like, because we're not misusing it. And they've been suppressing my events over there.
So, because live, I'm going to try to take a screenshot of
Don't worry about it. I'll go back and it will tell me. Facebook will complain to you in the messages.
One of the things that I enjoy is having a ridiculous number of cores in this 12-year-old computer that
we got to do what we got to do, right? So you can see I'm coming here and I'm going to maybe come to the top and make sure that that little top bit is also painted so I can make the metallic. Then it's got a little friend next to it. Right here. But I'll paint this one in first just so I can make sure that I've got the shape all right.
Okay, now it let me back in. That's weird.
Goodness gracious. Facebook's been a problem lately.
Hey, folks. This is live, so you know. That's why I got quiet, though. I was like, what is going on? Yeah. I see it now, though. Thanks, guys, for all the help out there. And the patrons and the... Okay, moderators, awesome job. Thank you for helping. Patrons, thank you so much for helping us keep the lights on. And for everyone sharing and liking and subscribing and doing the human things that help keep this channel afloat. While she paints.
While I paint the ornaments that I just sketched in with my white paint, which is really all you can do.
Now, why do you paint the white in?
Because it'll help me with my colors when I come in and layer them. Because if I try to take these colors, especially if you at home try to take these colors with economy paint over these branches, you would be painting and painting and painting and they would never be red or gold or purple. But if we come in and we do a little glaze of white, not only does it help us know the shape of our ornaments, right? It helps us actually understand what we're painting in. It makes sure that our colors are vibrant.
This all seems very wise.
I'm doing this all with my cat's tongue. On the inside here, I'm going to do an interesting thing. I am going to paint it with white, but I'm going to add a little kind of altering blue to it. And that is so that I can tell the difference from the inside and the outside of the white that I painted. See how that just little variance lets me kind of hold those two spaces? This is a trick of underpainting that you can do to not lose your sketching. Even if a zone would be the same underpainting color.
Zone.
That lets you keep the interior circle. You can also come through, I could also come through with like a little stronger kind of altering blue, like, and just make sure that I know what is going on here.
Thanks, Heather. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Heather. I don't know what I'm thanking you for, but I want to say thank you.
I forgot to put the reference photo up.
Oh, thank you. All right. Perfect. So now we kind of know where the whole of our ornament is, and we know where other ornaments are. And once we know where they are, we can paint in our pine cones. Let these dry for a second. So that'll be another step, and I would love my coffee heated if we could do that.
I
get behind on chat. I do.
So I tell you,
Tim says hit a thumbs up. Yes, please hit a thumbs up. Share with your friends. Tell them we're painting ornaments. Vintage ones. Get our retro groove on. And it's kind of fun and groovy.
It is
all right.
Very
Hit me with the step, and we're going to come back. I'm going to show you my pine cone trick.
All right.
I got a pine cone trick. And I'm I'm going to put pine cone here. I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'm going to start my pine cone with my round brush. This is an Art Sherpa number 4 round. You could do it with a different brush. I just want something that will let me create teardrop strokes. Remember those from the beginner painting course? Yeah, we're going to be, oh yeah, and the white tree we just did. So I'm going to make my cad red and my cad yellow together. I'm going to make an orange. And I'm going to go ahead and mix a little brown into that. You can also take a little bit of your brown and black together. So we've got a couple colors here to work with, right? A dark brown and what will be a light highlight brown. I'm going to come right here and say I'm going to have 2 pine cones that are going to kind of intersect right there. So let's do that one pine cone. I'm going to make some dots. And then this one pine cone. So they're sort of pointing out. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a touch stroke. And this is going to paint in the shape of the pine cone in kind of a silhouette. Now, if you remember, the pine cones kind of widen out at the belly and then they taper. So that's what I've got to be kind of painting in here. To get that general pine cone little shape. My coffee is warm and I'm so excited about it. Look at that. We're just pulling that in. It's almost like a zipper. Just pull it back. When you get this down, and it can take a minute to get it down, and you'll be pine coning all the things. You'll be like, you know what I need to add to that? Pine cone. It's not quite a one-stroke pine cone, but it is easy in a similar way. Just layering the little strokes up. And even though they're all one color, and we're not necessarily seeing all the variants, even this little bit of paying attention to detail does help us create a pine cone that feels more piney. What? Oh.
I keep
reference?
the reference photo, man.
If ever we lose the reference photo and you guys need it, I'll also put it on the website so you guys can find it on the video pages for each video lesson. And you can search those by keyword too. So I've kind of bisected those together and they're sort of doing their little pine cone thing. And I'd like another little pine cone up here in the corner, so I'll let John come up and join me. Are you joining me, my dove? Sure, why not, right?
Sure. I'm here anyway, right?
You're here anyway.
I have been informed that I have dad sound effects.
You do have dad sound effects.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? What do you think the kids have been telling you all these years?
No. I mean, like, I didn't know it had a name.
Oh, of course.
Because my dad did not make sound effects.
No.
Neither did my grandfather.
No.
Or any other. I don't know anyone else who makes.
My dad made nothing but sound effects. It was quite distressing to my mother.
Huh.
He made so many sound effects. He made sound effects everything he did. He was in Daffy Duck sound effects. Like when he was doing stuff, he would talk in Daffy Duck, and whenever he was doing a tool, he would like give it a sound effect. You go squeak, squeak, squeak. I can't even do it because he would make all these noises when he was working in the shop.
Yep. So I wonder if there's like an anthropological thing happening here.
I mean, I think there's got to be something, right? Let's come back. We've got our orange, if you'll remember. We mixed that over here, which is our little red, a little yellow, and a little brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to come here to the tip. We're going to go back down the bottom. And you're going to leave a lot of the dark to show through. Right? Because you're trying to say that this particular pine cone, that the little spines or scales of it are kind of like open. See how that opens them up a bit? I like doing pine cones. They make me sort of happy. pine coney.
We found those pine cones that are cinnamon in.
Oh.
They're sort of like they've been dipped in a cinnamon solution. Hold on, I have to move the reference photo so that you can see behind the mixing.
Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, you might have to move that.
There it goes.
Maybe take it over to this. Well,
yeah,
no.
I'll just scooch it, and then
down
I can
in this
put
corner
it
or
back
something.
in there.
No, I love those cinnamon scented pine cones. They are really something.
Scooch it there right now.
Aren't those just lovely little pine cones? We're going to come up to the corner up here. So this is just orange. I took yellow and red, my cad red and my cad yellow, and I mixed them together to make an orange, and then I added a little burnt sienna.
So there's a lot of questions around this.
Okay.
I don't think that as you grow old, your body making sound effects for you counts.
Oh. First of all, because you've been doing that your whole life. On a next Olympian level. Like, I really had to question.
Apparently, I was practicing for dadhood.
We didn't even know. We just thought you were trying to gas out the apartment and get control of the good snacks. Sorry. I'm going to add a lot more yellow to my mix right here. And a little bit of brown and some white. Put out some more white, but this is pretty good. I'm going to come in and hit just the toe, the tip of the pine cone. See how we do this? Isn't this fun?
Mm-hmm.
You just get a little bit of it. See right there? Tippy, 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 toe up the pine cone. Pine cone tips.
I think Nicole said she's loving the latest Doctor. What do you think?
So I am, John's been a bit, but like, I don't know if you can see my shirt. It's like got the angels. It's also got some Cybermen, but really I got it for the angel.
What I would say is I love every Doctor. I long for Moffat to write some episodes.
I think that's what it is for John is that I think this particular actress gets the Doctor and understands that energy. I think the cast is great, and I like the storylines. I, too, do miss Moffat, but only because I'm not sure I trust the writers to know where they're going. That makes sense. But I don't care.
On an episode by episode basis.
He's not watching so much that I am watching, like, I'm glued in. I am glued in.
It's a thing.
Also, I think we've had some sneak peeks into a future Doctor, so we kind of know who's next. So I'm like researching that person. I don't want to do spoilers, so I won't. But if you guys caught on to it, you know what I mean. I'm going to continue to tip the pine cones on the toes. So we have 3 values. We have the dark brown and black. Then we have the lighter brown that's mixed into an orange. And then we have this very taupey color where we added a lot more yellow, brown, and white into it. And we use that on just the toe. And that is how we build the pine cone. Feel free to add pine cones to everything for the rest of your lives. All right.
This didn't seem too corny at all.
Christine says the Facebook video keeps timing out for a few seconds and coming back, but still watchable. Yeah, I think we're going to add Twitch and maybe Discord to places that we stream.
Discord.
I'm thinking we've got to do that. I got to sip my coffee before it gets cold.
Sippies.
All right, I'm just making sure I'm not missing questions. Yeah, I really like her. I also, if you like the current female Doctor Who, you got to check out her universe over at Torrid because all the current Doctor Who stuff is based on her. So you can get like trench coats and really cool stuff with like the zippy stripe and stuff. I'm into it.
She can safely say that because her gigantic box of stuff has just arrived, so she's safe.
All right, great question. Rita Bates says, how often do you need to replace the wet mats for the palettes? I have never had to replace the yellow mat.
Hold on.
Okay. I've never had to replace this yellow mat. I do have to replace the paper. And in fact, if John doesn't get me the spray soon, I'm going to have to replace this paper mid-show.
Can you show it now?
Okay. You got to give me the spray bottle because I got to missed it. The paper is drying out even in these conditions.
See the little corner thing? That's cool.
So what's happening is this is so dry with the fireplace and everything that's going on. It's even starting with the sponge and everything. It is even drying it out now. So I still have to mist it.
All right.
All right. We're on to the next step. Yeah.
You think so? Step.
So.
Step.
I want to do some snow. And I don't really want to put snow over my lights or my ornaments. That means that this is the stage with which I'm going to let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. This is my snow frame. This is golden fluid acrylic titanium white. You could use craft paint. They do have this in a little 2-ounce bottle that's a little more economical, and you can use coupons and stuff to get it for a little less resource. I'm misting the back of my palette and then the sponge a bit, and hopefully that will help it come back. I'll revive it. I'm trying to revive it. And then just a little bit the front. Okay. So you can do a lot of things to get this into different price points. This is my from a Galaxy set. There are a few Galaxy sets, like even at the Brush Guys and stuff. I don't know how long those will be out there. I just don't know. But it really is an incredible splatter tool, and I don't know when I'll get another one made. Yes, it looks like a toothbrush, and if you found a toothbrush that was too awful for your teeth, that might work. Like if you're like, that's too stiff for a mouth, that would be, if it felt like it was going to pull your gums off your teeth in a punishment type of style, that would work. And I'm going to just flick this back.
Ooh,
and I'm going to let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Da, 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 da. It can be a little bit snowy or a lot snowy. It's really up to you. Now, I had an overly big drop hit there, and I don't want that. I'm going to rinse this out right now.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another brush. I'll take my cat's tongue, and I'm going to come in and very carefully just pick that up and wipe that off. And then it's not really that noticeable on the canvas anymore. So that's how I would do that. When you have a boo-boo with your splatter, I just fix it. I don't get stressed about it. Heather C says is also missing Moffat. Does my Stay Wet palette have little cups on one side? It did. I discarded the cups and I used the side container to hold brushes. I was like, these are dumb cups. Gave them to the kids for like beads and stuff. But I just use it as it's an incredible brush holder and it keeps them from rolling off the table. So that's why I really liked that one. All right. This has to be thoroughly dried and worked before I try to put anything over, because if I don't do that, it's going to go everywhere.
Okay. So, yeah, the little dots and little drips all have to be dried. And that's so they don't turn into little streaks. I'm not sure what that little drippy drip she's got directly underneath there is. Let me ask her. Okay. I just want to make sure she knew about that before. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes those things turn, the little drips that sneak down from a brush or something can turn into streaks. And it's not such a big deal. But if they sneak in there and you can't see them, then that can be a thing. So make sure you thoroughly dry, and that will prevent this in the next layer. So just because there's a lot of little dots, it may take a little moment.
So I see Tim Miner is talking about paint pouring, which I think is very cool, and you can do a lot of really cool stuff with paint pours, and I highly recommend it as a medium. I do want to say to any of my students that while if you see a torch demonstrated with an acrylic pour, I would skip that and not do it because it can release volatile chemicals that are dangerous to you and not good for your lungs and your health. And it would be very difficult to accurately get the safety temperature from the surface of your paint or deal with micro explosive particles in the air.
Acrylic paint is a polymer.
You don't want to
So
set fire to
it's
it.
not good with heat. We warn about the heat.
Yeah.
Fire's bad. Let's
It's-
just avoid that.
Yeah, it's just better. You can, you don't really need to do, it's not like resin. I think what happened is resin needs to be torched to pull air bubbles out, and artist resin doesn't do the VOCs, and you have to use the acrylic is not that.
No, it's
Different
not that.
product.
Completely.
Do everything else though, because it's a super cool art form.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want people to pay with their health, you know?
Right. That's why
For
we're
the
just
information not being out there yet. I say something now. If I'm wrong, all that happens is you didn't torture painting.
Right.
I'm not wrong, but if I were wrong, that would be what would happen.
We are on the side of safety for you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Are we on a step or something?
We're on a step.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm really sure.
All right. There it is.
We get to paint the ornaments now. We get to paint the ornaments now. I'm gonna paint the ornaments now. I'm gonna take this little moment
Okay.
and I'm gonna grab my kind of black and brown on my number 4 round, and I'm gonna go ahead and just come right now to the top, my little caps, and put this on as a base. I'm going to get really into the black. I'm going to make a little loop. And I'm going to do that on all kind of 3 of them. Metallics really are about hitting all the different reflections, and they sort of reflect what's around them. So even if it's a brass metallic or a gold metallic, that's what you're dealing with. So I want to make sure I have a good base there that's drying. I'm going to get more into the black for the little loopies. I do 2 different kind of loops. I do a twist together loop and then a rainbow loop. Both of them are fine.
Yeah.
Also at this stage, I am going to take my Detailiest detail brush. My Detailiest detail brush. This is a number 1 Art Sherpa detail. And to the best of my ability,
What you making there?
trying to paint a fine line.
Oh, it's like a little hooky thing.
Off the line. Just a little bit of the, just a little bit of an implication of it. The best of my ability.
Well, I mean, I think you did it. Just a little line going up says, I'm hanging here.
From something.
You don't know.
We don't know.
You don't know me.
We don't. It always makes me think of You Don't Know Jack. I used to love to play that game. I really did. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now I want to kind of put the underpaintings of the ornaments in. So I'm going to take my red here. I'll go ahead and get a little black into it this time. And so instead of darkening with purple, if you like the purple darkening, you could do that again today. But I actually did this with black, which takes it more to a brick color rather than a burgundy.
Mm.
And I'm going to come here and paint the ornament a base of that color. I'm going to use my round brush where I've got to kind of have tight corners.
Yeah.
And then I'll use a bigger brush to fill in the base. But I've just got to get the underpainting in. So the darker red with a black with a little bit of red, making the darker red.
Mm-hmm.
And I can build up to brighter when I'm ready. I am curving my brush stroke around, and that does help. kind of on the toe there. And then I might get into my black and brown here. And I don't mind, you know, not rinsing my red off. And then what I've got to do is come here and to create the look of the inside of the ornament, I make a little bit of a C that joins up.
Mm.
It's the beginning. I can even start to think about woohoo lines that might be coming out.
Yeah.
The beginnings of them. Just thinking about it. It's the underpainting, right? We're starting out. I'm going to take a little bit of my red and yellow together. Start to make an orange. I don't mind if a little bit of brown or something is kind of taking it off bright. The reason that I don't mind is because sometimes the vintage colors have a little bit of a patina to them. Think of colors like Harvest Gold or Avocado.
Yeah.
My big thing is trying to make sure that the ornament that is tucked behind still feels round in spite of everything. That's my big goal, right?
Yeah.
And come here with a little bit of red and just make sure that this stays round in the layering. There we go. Object placement. Now, what's real fun is I'll put out a little more of my magenta. I'm going to take my quinacridone magenta, my ultramarine blue, to actually make the purple on this ornament. It's a little different than a diox purple, and if you don't have these two colors and you just have diox purple, you could absolutely do that. I'm going to bring a little blue over here to my magenta, and it's going to make a purple. See?
It's super purple.
It's super purple. I'm going to get cleaner water because I don't want to be struggling no more. This is kind of blocking in or underpainting, and these first layers really set up everything else that's going to happen to be nice.
Yeah. These are my favorite kind of ornaments.
Yes, they are. We actually have a bunch of these.
Mm-hmm. And I even went back and collected the kind. There were two kinds. One that had an ammonia cartridge in it, so that when the light at the bottom heated it up, it would vaporize it, make little bubbles, and when they went to the top, they would cool off and turn back into liquid. And so they had these.
Those little bubbly candle ones. That's right.
Yep.
I should have done one of those. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yep. They're like, they don't make them anymore because I think they're kind of flammable.
Dangerous? Are they dangerous?
You know.
Everything good is dangerous.
It's true. It's like, wait, you can't sell glass cartridges that are super brittle, filled with ammonia?
I'm just making sure I've got a nice shape on this. Something just feels like a teardrop down. That's what I'm always. This is my big struggle, is just making nice symmetry here. That's my big struggle.
I got a better idea. We get a big dried out pine tree and put it in our house and surround it with flammable liquid.
Now I'm going to tip my canvas, because if I tip my canvas, I'll have an easier time with symmetry. Sometimes you just cannot see stuff properly flat.
It's true. But luckily, we have focus. Boop.
And I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be close enough. There we go. I feel close enough. I've removed all my sticky tapes. I hope I'm not putting wet paint on myself. Such a hot mess when I paint. All right. There we go. That's an underpainting, right? That begins the journey into the ornaments. Heather C says you can get the bubble at night nightlight, so I guess they're still out in the world. Now, let's try this again and come back for another step. John will talk to you about that.
I will?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, there's all sorts of wonderful things that you can still... Oh, get through. Okay. All right, so next step, I'll make sure I keep the reference photo up there. I think, I'm not sure if I had missed it or not in there, but it's up now. So we'll make sure we keep it up. I'm working on it. My button memory is a little rusty, maybe, I guess. Not enough coffee in the day? I'm not sure. I don't know.
All right.
Where are we at?
We are at a step. I don't know what step. I don't count those. You count those.
I do?
Yeah. Move the reference photo over a little bit. That way. More close to the canvas over here. Maybe every once in a while big.
I'm going to put it here. And then I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go there a little bit more.
Perfect. And that way we're off the palette, and then we can, maybe even make it a little, not this bigger, the reference bigger.
Oh, yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah. That'll help everybody. And again, if ever the references are difficult, I don't want you to strain your eyes. I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I do put those on the website, and you're welcome to grab those and save those to your phone so you have something there. That is okay. I have the reference here in front of me, but mine's a little bigger than yours. Why that's funny to me. Why is that funny to me? Okay.
We're stepping?
We're stepping.
All right. To step 8.
To step or not to step? This is the question. We are going through this really quick. We're going to be done before anybody looks up and looks over.
It's true.
Yeah. Step 8 is great. Let's hopefully we don't end on 12 and a half again.
I have permanently changed the
numbering system.
Well,
but guys, don't match that on no, I guess they can match that on the thing because I think the system will still not struggle with it.
Sometimes I miss steps or double step something, and they
Jenna
always catch
Bug
it.
would like to remind you after TS finishes the wonderful piece, will we be having some Discord convo? Are you guys fans of Discord? Do you find yourself socializing on Discord because Facebook makes you mad? Meet us about after we end this stream. What did you like 30, 40 minutes for us to get a cup of coffee? We will meet over on Facebook. Fun that it is, but we got to get off there somehow, right? And we'll tell you guys how to get on Discord. If you want to be on Discord, if you don't want to be on Discord, you're not going to miss out. Just stay where you are. You're okay.
It's just it's a place where you guys continue to chat and carry on, and we're going to continue to try to moderate it, make it a nice, safe place. But we don't know what that means yet, so it's still evolving.
We don't know.
But we're learning together.
I'm going to take that wonderful color I mixed earlier, which was the red and yellow together, a little bit of brown and white. Right?
Oh.
And I'm going to add some white to it. Right? Oh, that's pretty good. And I'm going to come inside here. And I'm going to start working on the inside of my little ornament. Number 4 round still. Your round may not say number 4 if it's a different brush company or a different brush. It may say different number. You just want one that has a good point and treats you well. Company and brush should treat you well. And I'm brushing in, kind of starting to mimic those little spikies, right?
Mm-hmm. This also could be a GLaDOS eye. Could be a GLaDOS eye.
What is that?
Remember from Portal?
Oh! Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us. I'm never going to get content IDs for singing. Don't feel worried for me.
Portal is not... it probably is the best version of Portal is the Apple II version.
I'm going to get a little more of this on my brush, a little more yellow, a little more. Oh my goodness, the red got in on there and just refused to mind its own business, didn't it?
It did.
I'll come back with a little yellow and say, no, mind your business. Got a little brown in there. Mind your business. There we go. Kind of a yellow ochre, and you're probably going, but I could have just mixed yellow ochre. You could, but then would you know? And the way the brown layers, it kind of goes, it gets some depth going.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll have just for everyone who's asking questions about what Discord is and how it works, check the Facebook. We're going to go into all of this for you guys.
30 to 40 minutes after the show, we'll just go live.
Yeah, we'll go live and we'll explain all of that.
Yeah, we will. We'll tell you all about it, and you'll be like, what? How weird. And I'll be like, no. Let's come back and get some of this great gold color. And we're going to add it to the left side of our ornament. A little bit over the hook. A little bit to the left side of the ornament. Oh!
What's that?
I just dropped my brush.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I was reading chat.
And now it's not a boo-boo anymore. Boo-boos happen. I'm just trying to make sure that the little handles are kind of 2 values at this stage. You know, I'm doing really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to come underneath all of them with a little bit of shadow, a little bit of black, just to show that there's a little shadow under the caps. Come under there, a little bit of shadow. I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my black on the toe of my brush, just here on the tip. I'm going to flick out closer over here, like over here, they'll be like closer together, and then they're going to be kind of in a little span here. A little bit of the facets from the inside. Of the ornament. It's having a little think there. It's thinking about what it's done, as it will. I'm going to grab a little more of my red here. Not my brightest red, it's my cad red. And there's still, because there was a little black from over here earlier, it's still a little toned back, right? It's a little shaded. I'm going to come up over the top. And just make sure. I might even tip just to make sure that I've got a nice rounded ornament. Again, even for me, and I have a lot of skills for dealing with what my camera wants of me, painting flat is hard. That's why in that beginner thing, I was like, I don't recommend it. Get that nice next coat on there, right? Making it look round, making it look good. Now, what's real fun is there's kind of I'm going to get some white here. I'm going to make a little bit of a barrier. A little white edged barrier there.
Yeah, the perspective on this can make it kind of tricky.
It is tricky.
Crystal was noticing that it's like, ooh, this can add an element of complication.
It is an element of complication.
Very beautiful.
But it's cool looking. And look, we got the ribs and the ribs and the ribs. I'm going to come in with some just white.
See, you could totally just put like right down on the bottom, product of aperture science, and then you'd make every child who walked by it just go hee 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 hee.
I think you would just put Gladys.
You could go anywhere though.
Yeah.
Black Mesa Laboratories.
Just getting those reflections in. So that high white reflection stroking inwards, that's going to create a little bit of that feeling that, oh, maybe there's a bit of heat to that and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of nice. I'm going to continue to kind of get some brown involved here. And add a little bit of another color there. You'll notice what I'm doing is I just sort of tap and try to create a patterned and a regular feeling, leaving that highlight there, right? You can even come back with another little, that's too bright. You want it to still be brown. And that way you can still add the white to it. You're just creating those scents. Now all that really needs to dry for a second before you can even go on in that ornament. That all needs to have a settling bit. So let's call this a step and we'll move on to the red. And we're going to go through in these layers, and that way as you're going through with me on the steps, you're doing the layer that you need to be doing for that step.
Okay, so you want to layer up here?
I want to layer. I want to step.
You're not going to dry?
No dry. Just
okay.
Go right over to the... You only got to dry if you're painting on an area that you got to layer up. But we can just go across.
Okay.
In stages.
I'm a backseat painter here.
You really are a backseat painter, just so you know. I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow. And it's going to hit some of the colors that I sort of mixed over here.
Are we there yet?
Are we where yet? I'm going to brush the top of the ornament with this slightly orange yellow. Still warm. And I might even sort of wiggle my brush. And you'll notice that it's transparent, right? But that's playing into what we want. Go back into my red. This here is the reflection of ornaments around it. These ornaments are metallic, so when we're painting metallics, we are often painting the reflections of what is next to them. Isn't that cool?
That is kind of cool.
So it's a little bit warmer red here and a little bit brighter yellow at top and bottom. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of my yellow. Get some white into this up here. Okay. And we're going to come into, it's too watery. So sometimes if I have too much water in my brush, I don't get the effects that I want. Come to this edge here. Make another little stripe. See how these are irregular little shapes?
Yeah.
That's how they kind of get that reflection feeling. Add a little highlight. And I can just do this through all three of these because I've got it mixed out right now. Get a little bit of yellow. Just making sure our caps feel metallic. When we come in and put the white highlights on them, that's when they'll be really shimmery. Now, the other thing that I want to do is I want to get into my purple color. Right? I'm going to add a little bit of that to the reflection.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe add a little white to it so we can really see it. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's just you want to have it there, a little bit of a reflection. I'm going to come into my red and yellow. And then we come back with our bright yellow on our highlights. That will help that ornament feel like it's shiny as well. All right. Come in, get a little yellow here and a little white. Look at that, tapping that in. Grab some just yellow. And just make sure that it's painted nice and snug to the purple. Look, I can even knock back a purple reflection with a little bit of yellow. It's just like muted. Let's let that have a rest and we'll move on to the next layer, the purple ornament. Ooh. We just go through and then we go through and come back.
So is this another step then?
It's another step.
Look at you just stepping it up.
If the yellow step is giving you some trouble, dry in the middle of it and then keep going. What probably will be happening to you there is your paint isn't drying enough in the environment, and so it's just never quite the right tackiness for each layer. So you just want to dry it and come back and dry and come back. So don't be worried about that.
We, however, have extraordinarily dry air.
We do. So it's just drying it out on me as fast as I go. All right, I'm going to come in here and add another little bit of yellow to that, top of that. I always just like to keep adding to my little reflective tops. I just find it super helpful. I'm going to grab my magenta, get a little of my white into it. And come over and kind of paint that next layer of interesting color. So it's still purple, it's just a little warmer in the magenta. I can always get a little more ultramarine blue into it and deepen the purple. See how that does?
Yeah.
Create those deep shadows. So let's bring one over here towards this left-hand side and we kind of curve one down. Make sure that there's a nice shadow over there. Come over and bring some down here. I found like the purple one was like kind of in some ways by far the easiest one to get the reflections in on.
Yeah.
It just worked out that way. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of white to my mix. And come in, streak a little bit down. And hit that side. Oh, I'd love the coffee done if you want to heat my coffee.
Sure, if you're going to be here for a minute.
He's like, I mean, if you insist.
I'm thinking about making my next.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to come in here in the middle and kind of just smudgy that around. I just want sort of a diffused highlight. See how that diffuses the highlight? It makes it seem like there's definitely something happening there, but it's not so hot and so bright. And a little bit of those streaks there will help kind of make it seem like it's round. You know, rinse out. All right. Now, over here I have my phthalo blue, my ultramarine blue, and my phthalo green. I'm going to actually get my phthalo green and blue together and let them pick up into some white. I'm going to come in streak down a little bit of that teal. Oh, thank you. And let's come in the center here and wiggle the brush and then bring down a little bit of teal. And a little bit there. So that's nice, isn't it? Just starting to get the environment around. All right. Back on, let's call it a new step.
Yeah?
new step and I sip my coffee. We're just going.
I forgot to have the reference photo up on that one. I'll get it back up at the next step.
Okay. Throw up that reference photo.
I will. After we go to step 11. Where are you going to do next?
Back to the red.
Back to the red. Okay.
Fresh water.
Is that a request?
No, that is an announcement. But good question. Okay. Now, I'm going to begin to add some of the reflection and details and colors that make this feel more shiny. I'm going to get some white at first. And give myself a second little coat of this little white rim. And also here. Just because that 2 layers, it just really gives it a pop. I'm going to go ahead and get into my, blue mix over here that I've got going on and add some little blue reflections inside. You guys see those little blue reflections?
Yeah.
Like everything else, this has this sort of, I'm going to get back up into my brown gold over here. Let's maybe a little more brown into it, but just kind of, we know what that is. Add some of that in.
Yeah.
And I'm spacing it out, right? That's what kind of makes it seem like it's fractal. Right? That's what kind of gives it that feel. And then I'm going to definitely come in and get some red. Let's put some red in here as well. Just showing that it's even reflecting maybe another ornament or some part of it.
It's pretty awesome.
That is fun. I'm going to get back into my blue. Add a little highlighted blue here and there, kind of just trying to get it in. And maybe a little bit on the rim of the white. See how that goes in? That just gives that also a feeling. Now, if I have my ultramarine blue and I take some white to it, that's another good kind of reflection I can pull into. As you can see, it gives it kind of an off-kilter feeling.
Yeah.
I'm a little low on red, so I'm going to put out some more red right now. Because we've got to get some of the reflections on the ball going. Let's get on the ball, shall we?
Well, note to ball owners.
Now I'm going to maybe get into my 1/2 inch angle. You can keep using your round. I'm going to get a little of my red loaded on here.
Don't leave your medicine balls close to the fireplace. They melt.
And I'm going to use the edge of the brush to be really sharp and crisp with just some pure cad red.
Ooh.
Right.
That's a really...
If I want a little black into it, I'm going to come right here. Take a little shadow. I can even get into that purple mix that I've been doing down there. I'm going to come on the wide and kind of create that like strong shadow. Do you see those little strong shadows? So I just got into my purple over there. I'm just creating some streaks in shadow here. I'm going to rinse out, guys. We're doing good. We're just informing the curve of the ornament. I can bring a little yellow over into my red. Maybe like right here back by the ball, I can add a little reflection there. Oh, it's okay. Couldn't even hear. And come in.
Oops.
Just like on the little edge here. Oh, did we lose it?
Just you rotated a little bit. I wasn't center frame, so I'm okay.
Okay. Just make sure that we've got some bright red here. So there's a little bit of that glow there. Make sure there's just a little bit, just showing, just a little. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, to do any of that final reflection, this has to be dry. So I can dry it and do that final reflection, or I can move on to the next one and kind of go through. And sometimes as an art strategy, it's a good idea just to work through. So let's go finish up this yellow one real quick.
Okay, you gonna do another step there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. Step.
All right, now I'm going to get some pure yellow on that same 1/2" angle brush and a little bit of white just so that we can kind of see it. And I'm going to make sure that I have a nice, lovely kind of curve coming back. Now it's quite bright and yellow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we still have that sort of center reflection. Come here with some white.
Oh, wow.
It's got a little tint of yellow in it. Come right up to the edge here. A little more yellow than that. Working it well. A little bit of reflection, a little bit of go. Okay. I don't know that we need to, I guess, yeah, let's take it to a whole step so we're just doing it consistently.
Okay.
And then we'll work on this purple.
So this could be
Step 12.5. Because we just don't do that other step anymore. Just at all. All right, I'm going to add a little white to my purple mix again. A little blue into that, so I get quite a light, version of it. I'm going to just brush down some of that very high reflection. Rinsey, rinsey, rinse. Some of that yellow that I have over here, man, it's all prime and ready to go, isn't it? Mm-hmm. A little yellow and white. Okay, that's reflecting in that one. And I can even go forth and say, hey, I think on top of everything else, you're going to have a little red. I'm on the corner of this brush. But that would be that ornament reflecting onto this. So see how they reflect on each other? Mm-hmm. That's where the glow comes from. All right. Now, if this is dry, I can take a little bit of my ultramarine blue.
Is this another step?
Let's make it another step. Why not?
Okay. This is so steppy.
This is so steppy. I don't mind though. If you guys don't mind, because then it'll be like time stamped to each individual thing. And on a multi-layer piece like that, that can make a big difference for you guys. I'm going to make a very light blue. I mean, it's almost white, but it has just a hint of that ultramarine blue cast to it. And I'm going to just kind of dry brush. See how I'm dry brushing?
We see.
A little bit of reflection there. A little bit there. That's not bad. I also need this reflection kind of over here. So that is happening.
Thank you to all of our 12-month emoji
Yes,
members.
Thank you so much, guys, for 12 months. Now, let's get a little more white into it. It's not our final white, but we're going to make a slightly brighter reflection. I'm on the round brush, my number 4 round, and I'm going to tap out a little bit of reflected light right there.
Mm-hmm.
Across the top. Maybe like right there. A little bit here. A little bit on that yellow ball. Right, and then some up in its little area there. Stroking down there. So see how these are little moments? They're little catches of light. And that's really the trick there, is to catch the light. Catch that light, be there on that light. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to take my detail brush and I'm going to come inside, make a little dot. Make a little bit of bright reflection that hit inside that little spot, right? And then I'm going to come up here, little dots. Those are those little hot spots. Make sure you hit your metal up there with a hot spot. Dots there. Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
A little bit of highlights there on that.
Yep.
Highlight there. Gonna make sure I got some highlight on the middle here, and also on its little hook.
Nice. You know, all the other little things you could add is a little paw poking up off the side of this.
You absolutely could.
Depending on your household.
I mean, we can do one of those. That is absolutely a thing we can do. All right. Now, I do want to dry it. I'm going to start putting in my
Sparkles.
glow and sparkles, and so that will be like the finishing moment of that.
Yeah.
So let's dry this thoroughly so we're not dragging any paint anywhere, and we can come back and glow and sparkle. You guys ready to glow and sparkle?
I'm definitely ready.
Okay.
So much. I really like all the glow and like this is one of my favorite pieces because I really like vintage ornaments, and I don't know. I think it looks really cool with the combination of colors. So now, before you move on, let's give them a step.
Steps 15. I'll take it. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow and a little bit of my white, and I am going to come here and dry brush concentric little circles coming out. It is transparent, and if you're having trouble with the transparency, use the golden glazing medium. If it's giving you any trouble, I'm going to come in with a little bit of white. I'm just painting the idea of this little radial shine happening. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Come and let's imply that there's one happening over here. Maybe we don't see it perfectly, but we know it's there. The glow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say there's one up here. Just kind of dragging the brush around. Medium pressure. You can see I actually got a pretty good bend on the brush to get that little dry brush out where it does that glow. And I'm going to come around with maybe a little more white. Hot spot that glow. Come back with a little more yellow. That. You can go bigger. You can go smaller. It is up to you. The size of your glow is totally yours. Lori says, other than the environment, does brand have anything to do with drying time? Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. So I have had a chance to paint with not every brand of acrylic paint, but many brands of acrylic paint, and they all have personalities and they all have temperaments. I feel like the acrylic whisperer sometimes up in here. It's just, like some of them have more drag on the brush. Some of them need more water. Some of them are really water sensitive and just come apart when you add water. Some of them are whippy like foam. Mm-hmm. They are all so different. Now, they'll all interact, right? They all work together, but you've got to really kind of get to know, you've got to be in a relationship with your paint. I don't really know what else to tell you guys except be in a relationship with that paint because it is different brand by brand. Now, if you get in a good relationship, a functional, healthy relationship with your paint, then you can really make headway. Oh, we had a custom emoji for chat. You brought art into my life when I needed it most. This is Valerie. Welcome to custom emoji chat. It's so fun. 12 months. That's very cool. That's a big, big celebration, 12 months. Mm-hmm. Grumpy Bunny, who's now my favorite person ever. I'm a cake decorator. Again, actually, have any cake. But if I had cake, I'm sure I would want your cake. I love cake. I'm so about cake. You just have no idea. You can just get me for cake.
You know what I have to say. The cake is a lie.
I'm going to apply a little glow coming off the corner here. When just a little thing as an art note as you're learning to paint, when you take things off the canvas, when your scene exits the canvas, even focal, it implies that the world goes beyond the painting, and that makes a big difference. I'm going to come right here. Making little circles. I'll come in and dry brush some white. Come back with some good yellow. I like cake so much. I'm okay.
Glow it up.
All right. There we go. We have a nice little amount of circles. They're doing really, really well. Now, the thing that we're going to do is we're going to come back with our detail brush, our number 1. And let's say I'm going to come here and I'm going to make like a dot. Careful of your load. I'm going to kind of brush down. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to actually smudgy this up. I didn't like how I did that. No, I didn't like how I did it.
Smudgy. And now it's gone.
I'll think about you in a second. I'll do you. So what it is I have a brush stroke that works well to one angle and then doesn't work that great on another angle. And so I've got to think about that when I'm doing it. Doesn't got to be perfect, but I want it to be a distinctive little sparkle. There we go. I like that. That's okay. Sparkling, Mm-hmm. Straight line challenged. A little sparkle there.
Yeah.
And then, I may actually use my dotting tool just to save myself the misery. It's like you could use a toothpick if you didn't have one of these, or you could just keep using the brush, and I'm going to dot out.
Oh.
A series of these little center lights. Maybe a bigger dot. I'll use my bigger ball.
Oop.
So it's the same thing, little sparkles around that.
Mm.
That's what you guys are doing, little sparkles. I'm wiping my brush off pretty often on a paper towel to get control over it.
Mm-hmm.
Just creating the radial outlines. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
For the little lights. I think it's super fun. Little ones kind of coming off here, maybe saying, "Oh, that sparkle's like right there at the edge of the range of sparkle."
Mm-hmm. It's the friend that leans into the photo.
Yeah. We all have one. And then I'm just going to move this so I have an easier time getting to it. But you could just, whatever you've got going on in your easel. There we go. Now I might, while I'm looking at this, I think that I want a slightly lighter inside of my reflection here. So I might come back. That's why it's a good idea to spend some time with your painting.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you spend time, you can be like, oh, I feel like I want to see a little bit more of this, or, oh, I'm good there,
Yeah.
Or like, sometimes it's just a little touch, right? Really helps you see it. Guys, guess what?
That's pretty fantastic.
We painted some retrotastic ornaments, and that was no joke, right? Now, Thursday, the tree is super one hoot, right? So if you've been needing, a project that's more all level, or you really like abstract, we're going to do a retro abstracted tree. And it's going to be one hoot. And after this, in about 30, 40 minutes, we're going to go live over on Facebook and explain this Discord thing to you guys, of which nobody has to Discord. It's not required. It's
just a place to chat.
It's just a place. You could go there, but you don't have to go there. You just can go there if you want to go there. Oh, man, I'm kind of liking this today.
I dig it.
I did okay on my circles. Circles are my big nemesis. That's why cars are a problem. Wheels. We can do it. I can't do it. My wheels all look flat. To be like very gestural with my wheels. Wheel. But I can't actually say wheel because otherwise it's like, then I keep making them bigger and then all of a sudden it's like an inflatable tire car. It's just really, if you paint with me for a while, cars are like my nemesis. Which is got circles. Oh my gosh, guys. I hope you had fun today. I had a lot of fun today. This was great. I cannot wait to see yours. I hope you got a lot of techniques out of this that you liked. I hope you enjoy yours to hang the holidays. We've got the retro tree coming up the next following Saturday. I've got a vintage scene with this gorgeous red community barn, which could be, all kinds of things. You can customize it to just fit your life, and a glowing lit up tree that is just so beautiful. New technique I haven't taught before. So I think that that's going to be a lot of fun. And I just hit that subscribe button, follow the channel, hit all notifications because I go live all the time. I'm teaching stuff all the time. And I might show something that you really, really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to miss it.
No.
It's free. That's good. And come back in about 30, 40 minutes for the Discord. All right. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.